Hey ladies, Debbie Holloway here. Let me make sure I've got my volume turned up. I've got a really great message for you today. I did a call on Monday for all of our elite clients in our organization, and quite a lot of clients. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I do think now this topic is more important than ever. I don't know how many of you saw the announcement of Realogy and Amazon and what that's going to mean to us as agents. I do think, bottom line, the industry as we've seen it change has gone from needs to or has to go from being agent-centric to consumer-centric, because that's what's happening. And I do also believe that we have a very short opportunity to make a really good first impression. Think about this. How many 1-second opportunities do you have each day? Like, what I mean by this is 1 second to maybe model the behaviors of things that you see, maybe 1 second to make a personal connection, 1 second to help somebody maybe be more involved, maybe 1 second to lead. Things are going very quickly. People are making decisions quickly. People are relying less on who they know and more on what they find online. So I do believe that the ability to influence is really, really important. Because if we can't make a really good first impression and be good at influencing, then what's going to happen is our client will go elsewhere. And I believe that no matter how good we think we are, and yes, I do believe we're all talented, no matter how talented we are, if you don't take care of that talent, it goes away. And when I say take care of that talent, what I mean is I believe that influencing is a talent. I'm balancing this so that you guys can see. This is such a pretty day here. Influencing is a talent. It's something that we learn. And there's an art, I believe, to being a really good influencer. I believe that it is an art. And I think influencing can be done in a bad way and a good way. A good way to influence is obviously eliminating the stress our clients feel. And I think that's a really important thing to do. And I believe there's 3 ways that we do that. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. 3 really great ways for us to influence people in a positive way. Number 1 is model. Number 2 is connect. And number 3 is involve. When I say model, what I mean is be what you want to see more of. Be what you want to see from those people around you. Who do you surround yourself? Who are you modeling in your life? I mean, I try to model a lot of what I learned from Tom Ferry, a lot of what I learned from my husband, from the women in this organization. That's been huge. But who are you modeling yourself after? Who do you want to be? And I'm not saying you want to be anybody other than you. We have to think about this. Influencing is a talent. There's an art to it. If I want to be able to influence, sometimes I can't just be me. I just finished and sent off to the office a PowerPoint for our upcoming summit for a session I'm going to do on personality types and why it's important to get into the client's model of the world so that we can help eliminate the stress they feel. So think about who we're modeling. You know, Walt Disney said, treat people the way you want to be treated. Think about that. You want to influence people, you want to keep clients, get clients, and not have this constant combative of what they're getting online. How are you treating people? We teach people how to treat us. Number 2 I wrote down was connect. We have to mirror and match the client. If they talk fast, you talk fast. If they talk slow, you talk slow. If they, listen, maybe they scratch their head or something. You don't reach up and do this. You can scratch your head, but you mirror and match them. And you use words that speak to them. You base it on the personality types. If I'm dealing with a driver, I start my questions with what, because that works for a driver. If I'm dealing with an expressive, it's about who. If I'm dealing with an amiable, it's about why. And with an analytical, it's how. So think about how we're connecting with people. Are we connecting in their model of the world? Or are we just being us and expecting them to figure us out and do what we want? And it doesn't work that way when we do that. Find things you have in common with them. I was reading a really good book on influencing the other day, and it talked about you should always be looking for something in common. What do you have in common with that person? Maybe it's like, for me, maybe it's horses, maybe it's the love of something. You can always find something in common with somebody. Always find things you have in common with that person. It solidifies that relationship. So number 2 is connect. And number 3 is involve. You've got to decide, are my clients auditory, visual, or kinesthetic? Now, when I say this, I assume you know what I mean. If somebody is auditory, they learn by what they hear. An auditory person is very sensitive to sounds. My sister and her husband are both blind. They are very sensitive to sounds. That's because they're missing one of their senses, one of their 5 senses. So they're auditory. Maybe your client is visual. Maybe they need to see, they need to touch it. They need to see what's around them. They need to see the examples. Then you want to reach out to them in a very visual way. Video texts, video samples of things. And your client may be kinesthetic. Kinesthetic people are really all about how it feels for them. That's why many times I'll say to somebody, so tell me, is there anything that you need to hear, see, or feel to make this decision? It's that simple. So my message for you is art. There is an art to influencing. And if we want to be great influencers, we need to understand that art. And you become a great influencer by the way that you model, the way you connect, and the way you involve. And again, you mirror and match. You get into their model of the world based on their personality type. You determine, how do they make decisions? Are they auditory, kinesthetic, or visual? Are you thinking it through before you just rush in to work with somebody? Think it through. Listen to how they talk. Listen to the words they use. And it can teach you who they are. And once you understand who they are, you treat them. You get into that model of the world and treat them in the model of the world that they're most comfortable in. So I hope this just helps you a little bit with the whole concept of influencing people. Because I think we're moving so quickly and there's so many changes and so much happening online. There's still going to be somewhat of a personal touch. And I do believe our time that we have to actually influencing someone is very, very quick. It's that 1 second, 2 second time. And we have to be really on top of our skills. And that's why I think skills in this market are more critical now than they've ever been. So think about that. Maybe read a couple books on the art of influencing others and see if that doesn't change some of the outcome you have. That's what I wanted to share with you ladies today. Hopefully I'm going to see a bunch of you guys at the summit. There's my Missy. Hi, and Eileen. Oh, I see you're here too. Yay. So I'll see a whole bunch of you at the summit. Otherwise, talk to you next Wednesday. Make it a great week.